debate. This one is on the topic of the black fraternity and some of these down low brothers that you see in the black community. We have a gentleman named Blakely who reached out to have this conversation. I'm going to yield the floor for the gentleman to introduce himself and provide his argument.
Going on, everybody? I'm Blakely from Charleston, South Carolina. Um, Member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Um, so I reached out to Marquett. I don't necessarily have a argument. I don't think yet. We'll see where the conversation goes. I just wanted clarity more so on what his stance was. Guys, he posted a video earlier about it was some Kappas, and they were doing their presentation show, and they were linked up and whatever, and basically he insinuated that it looked homosexual, and I don't necessarily disagree. I just wanted to know if that was more of a general critique of Black Greek life in general, or was that specifically about that video?
Ah, got you. Well, I couldn't make any commentary on Black Greek life in general, in as much as I was not in Black Greek life. I have previously made one comment, which was in reference to the fact that they seem to fashion themselves entertainers, always with the dancing and all of this stuff, which I just think is probably not the direction that black folks, black men in particular, need to be going in. I think black people do plenty of dancing. In fact, probably too much. You can't scroll through TikTok without seeing some big teeth African, dancing on a dirt road. And to see grown black men who are in an educational institution investing so much into this clap, snap, stepping stuff that they do, when you have a fail rate in excess of 50%, I think that there are much smarter ways to represent themselves as a men's organization. I yield the floor.
All right. So I mean, before I go and say anything, I do want to say that, like, first of all, Marquette, I am a fan, a follower. So
I
like,
appreciate that.
there may not be much that I necessarily disagree on. Um, but to based on what you just said, I agree with the you talk about. I'm assuming fail rate. You mean like black men in undergrad? Is that what
Would you mind repeating what you said, please?
you said? Oh, when you said the fail rate of 50%, you're referring to black men
No, actually,
who.
the fail rate is 50% broadly across all of the racial categories. For black people in particular, it's actually higher. And this follows the general trend that we see with, data, educational attainment, income level,
Yeah.
what have you. It's always worse for black people, unfortunately, unless you're talking about purchasing homes as a solo, as an individual, then black women lead that, but they also lead defaulting on the mortgage. But yeah, generally black people, if you look at the white data, just assume the black data is worse, unfortunately.
Okay. So yeah, so with your original statement, you said the entertainment aspect of it, you feel like that focus is kind of misguided because you think there's better ways that they could be serving the community, uplifting the community, empowering the community.
Well, I don't think they need to serve
I,
the community. They're not in a position to serve the community. They can scarcely serve themselves. I think that they need to be self focused. In my book, The Black Box, I write a lot about that. When you're a young person or you're someone who's not very accomplished, you need to invest in yourself so that you have something to give. And so I think that the focus is largely in the wrong direction, which is entertainment and then like community service. No, you need to serve yourself.
so you feel that way in general, in terms of like how college and university kind of postures itself in America in general, even getting into college, community service is a big focus. You feel like that's a misguided
That's
aim for
that's a
young folks
lie.
in general?
No, that's just what they tell to the dumb kids or to the poor kids to make them feel like they have a chance. The truth of the matter is that elite universities, the criteria is first and foremost your test scores. Secondly, your grades, which matter more or less depending on where you came out of school. Then, if you're looking at a
Right.
private institution, it considers legacy and money. So no, the community service I don't think has any significant meaning. It's a farce. It's the whole he's well rounded. No, well rounded. They'd rather see you be a member of a robotics club and do some sport that for some reason they want to pay you to do at the school: tennis, swimming, fencing, basketball, football. But community service, I don't think actually means anything.
Oh, so I mean, I can see that. I can't say yes or no. That's true. I've never been in admissions in the college or whatever, but I can see that. That makes sense. I mean, I personally didn't need to rely on community service. But so I mean, I understand that point. But however, my point is that is still something that is uh brought to prospective students and students as something that's important. So like even when you're in college, like there's uh honor societies, awards or whatever that focus on community service hours and things like that.
Yeah, that's
So
dumb.
okay. I mean I can see that point because I mean at 18, 19, 20, I mean, yeah, your focus should be more so yourself than giving to the community.
Yeah, and more importantly, often when you see these do-gooders, these are the people who have created the society that we're in, which is at some level a nightmare because it's survival of the weakest. The idea that you should invest all of this stuff in the most unproductive elements in the society that are not going to give a return on the investment is really foolishness. It's in fact sick. What I propose is, as I stated before, that those who have promise are young people who are diligent and intelligent, that they invest in themselves so that they can become in a position or earn a position to where they can give back in a strong way, but give back to those who are going to be a value add. The fact of the matter is, serving meals to the homeless has a very low ROI. Whereas conversely, if you would have taken those same dollars and you would have converted a rec center to a tech center, or if you'd have taken those same dollars and given put free outdoor athletic equipment in the community, I think it'd be a much greater investment as opposed to investing in junkies, which is often what ends up happening.
True, true. I don't really have a rebuttal for that. I can get with that. Um, so so when we talk about just basically like the fraternities being their focus is being misguided, basically. So you talked about being able to put yourself into position to give back to the people that matter. Is
Yes.
that not essentially at its core what fraternal organizations are about though? Putting you in that community to be able to network with people who are in those positions to pull you up from where you are.
I don't know. I don't know. And by no, I mean I don't have certainty. As I said, I wasn't in a black fraternal organization. A lot of
Were
the
you in a
fellows,
fraternal organization at all?
I founded a fraternal organization. In fact, I'll give you a funny story, which I talk about in my book, The Black Box, for those who haven't read it. You can type in The Black Box on Amazon, Marquett Burton. It's a fine read. It took me 10 years to write, and I wrote it for you. There's a really important story in there. It teaches you a lot about me and a lot about black people. When I got to university, I had no intention of joining a fraternity because I don't drink alcohol. And many of them, especially the white ones, are essentially drinking clubs. And that being the case, I was being recruited very hard by a traditional fraternity, which is to say a white fraternity. And they seemed like an all right bunch of guys, fun loving, and exposed me to different personalities and people who come from diverse backgrounds. The only thing that wasn't diverse is that all the backgrounds were wealthy. And during my time pledging, I essentially depledged, though they wanted me to go the whole mile. I depledged, and then I decided to found my own fraternity. At that point, I went to the black fraternities at the University of California, Berkeley, which were run by some woman named Nzinga. I think it was Nzinga Duga. And I say her name because I think she's a bit of a despicable character, because I went to her and I said, hey, you have like, I don't know how many, like three black fraternities, and each one had like four members or five members or two members. It was pathetic. And I said, hey, I found a building in an old fraternity that's boarded up, and I'd like to get that building filled up and opened back up, put a little money into renovation. I'm pretty sure we can do it. It's, there's a requirement that it has to be a fraternity. It's on Frats Row. None of the black fraternities have any building. So when black people at Berkeley want to go party, they try to go to the white fraternities. It's a no-go. You're getting rejected. Low key because you're black. Low key. And what do they do instead? They go to Oakland, which is Oakland. I don't know if you know East Oakland where the gangsters get hyphy. It's not the safest place on earth. Or they'll have to go into the city, San Francisco, into a club. So it's very inconvenient. It's not necessary as a college student. You should have somewhere to have a haven for yourselves. And so I told her, I said, hey, help me bring these small, irrelevant little cliques together into one fraternity. I don't care which black fraternity it is. You pick one. Maybe we pick one that already has the most people, which is like 4 or 5 people. And then we can bring those together as a nucleus, and then we'll go do some real recruitment. And she says, oh, well, each fraternity has their own history and their own culture. And so they're not going to all join one fraternity, Marquette. We can't do that. I'm against it. Stupid broad. So then I go to the whites, and the whites are like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, let's get this going. And then I basically recruit about 60 guys, get the place onboarded, pump $1 million in a renovation. And then we had the 3rd largest fraternity on campus before I graduated. It's still there today doing numbers. And the question is, well, why couldn't I do that with a black organization? Because they're too dim-witted, they're not forward thinking, they're backward. They're focused on their dances. Oh, we do this. Our dance is different than their dance. We can't come together in the same org because our dances are different. It's completely foolish and very effeminate. And these people were of no consequence on the campus of the University of California, Berkeley. And it was really sad to see that. But it was very much so representative of the fact that blacks were goofy. And number 2, most importantly, that they're being run by a black woman. Women shouldn't run anything. And the black woman today is very much so in disrepair, which doesn't make her unique. The black male as well. And that's why I go so hard. I yield the floor.
So I do think that your outlook on black fraternities is a bit shallow. However, I think a lot of its members' outlook on their organizations can be shallow too. But as far as your plan that you presented with your org that you created, I think if it was presented in a way where it doesn't necessarily have to be considered a fraternity itself, then that would have been a great opportunity. And I do think that was dumb for her to turn that down.
Oh, super dumb.
Yeah, but however, if it was presented as like basically like deconstruct the organizations they're already in for them to join this one together so they can be a bigger unit, then as a member, I do have to say I completely understand why that wouldn't have happened because of the history of organizations, which is not.
You understand why? Because I understand why. Are you saying you think you agree with it, or you just understand? Like, I comprehend. I just know that it's retard. Oh, I don't want to use that word. I just know that it's not very intelligent. I yield the floor.
So I agree with it because at the end of the day, the history of each individual organization, it's not about whatever steps that we may do. It's a lot deeper than that. There's reasons they were founded, what the individual founders were doing.
So you're telling me that we could have made history there. You see, there were no more than 5 members in a given black fraternity. That's not a fraternity. I get 5 people together to eat lunch. That's not a fraternity.
That's one school, though.
Berkeley has 30,000 students.
I agree. I get that.
And more importantly, it's a prestigious school. So to have a significant black presence is of great meaning. And more importantly, there has never been a black fraternity that had a house at the University of California, Berkeley. So screw what the irrelevant history is of these individual organizations that are too weak to create a presence at such a prestigious school, the first public institution in California, and in fact, the most prestigious public university on planet Earth literally ranked that. And you don't have a black presence there while the whole university is surrounded by black people in the city of Oakland. It's the small-mindedness of the blacks, and it's their goofiness that they would remain small and fragmented in these little irrelevant organizations, such that when they go out on a Friday night, just like all the other undergraduates, they don't have somewhere to be. There's no belonging. And what's more, how deep can your brotherhood be? You can't even live together like is the tradition among fraternal organizations. It's really pathetic, and it's the small-mindedness. It's the lack of enterprise. It's the fearfulness. And that's why black people always get done wrong, because they're too goofy to go big and to play strong. You play strong when you're together. You play weak when you're in these itty bitty organizations that have no lobbying power. That's stupidity. And that is why black people who think like that must be crushed, because they are holding us back. You will not negotiate with them. We crush them entirely. I yield the floor.
So there is a unified governing body of Black Greek organizations, though.
That's foolish. It has
Yes.
no impact on the fact that when you're there at that campus, you do not even have a building. You're just a group of goofballs who hang out together periodically. You don't really exist. And more importantly, the greater value that you get as young men who have a building that you're mutually responsible for, that you maintain, that you clean up, that you repair things, that you raise money for, that you host your women at, that you organize events at, social parties, fundraisers, volunteer, mentorship. They missed out on all of those experiences because they're goofy, irrelevant histories. None of those fraternities would have been any more epic than what I was creating. What I was creating would have been legendary, and they missed out on that for their foolishness. And it just reminds us that a good number of black people, one, are clearly low IQ, and two, they must be forced into greatness. And they'll have to be drugged, kicking and screaming because they don't have the marbles to put together what is the right decision. Like, tell me, like, what's the meaningful history of any one of these organizations? You said you're a Kappa, did you?
No, I'm an Omega.
You're an Omega. I'm sorry, I don't even
Yeah.
know the difference. It doesn't matter to me, but what's an Omega?
It's just, so it's Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, founded on Howard University in 1911. So
Incorporated. Does it make money? Like, you guys make profit? Is it a corporation?
yes, it's a international
So did you ever
corporation.
make money in it, or you were the one that was making it money by paying dues?
Raised money.
You raised money. Raised money
Yeah.
is not what a
Have I
corporation does. Corporations, if you're raising money as an
have I
investment, that makes
personally
sense. But
have
did you
I
have
personally
products?
products as in
Like corporations have products, like McDonald's sells Big
right?
Macs.
This is our brand. There's not like
Oh, okay. I was
it's just
just
a
curious.
brand.
I
Yeah.
was just
No,
curious.
yeah, it's a brand.
Okay.
I
Because you
mean
said
you
incorporated. Like, for example, I found a chapter of Alpha Tau Omega. I wouldn't say it was Alpha Tau Omega Incorporated. I mean, it sounds like
but it's
selling
like
something.
genuinely I didn't add the incorporated. It's genuinely an
Yes.
incorporated.
Yes.
But yeah,
Okay.
it's outside of so I'm not sure if you're aware or not, but I'm sure
It's
you are.
outside of the
But
Pan-Hellenic. Yeah.
and also Black Greek organizations exist outside of just the undergraduate experience.
Yeah, I
So
see that they do events and the women dress like slores. I've seen this stuff. It's kind of like Atlanta style stuff. I've seen it on television. But what I'm asking is, you said you're a Gamma. I'm sorry. Would you say yours is
I'm an Omega.
Omega? I'm sorry, Omega. You said you're an Omega. What is the specific meaningful history of being an Omega?
There's plenty you can research, but
No, no,
I
no.
mean, we were
Research means
founded on
nothing because you're in it.
yeah,
Hit.
and there's plenty I can tell you, but I mean, to baseline it though, it was founded on Howard University,
Okay.
and it was in 1911. It was still at a time where there weren't any Black fraternities except for one, were the Alphas. So basically, it to be the first one founded on a historically Black campus, like that's a significance in itself, a place where Black men could congregate
So
and
Omegas came after Kappas.
came at the same year.
Oh, it came the same year.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. All right. Go on.
Yeah. So, which like for the Kappas example, like they were founded in Indiana, so it was more about being able to stand together in an environment where they absolutely were not able to like congregate and be like groups of scholarly black men. So the Omegas is more about furthering the empowerment at a historically black campus. So that, I mean, that's just the origin. That's the beginning. I mean, but there's between 1911 and 2026, like there's the members that have joined, the things they've done in their personal lives and for the frat itself.
So, safer, and this is not to take anything away from your organization. Shout out to all of the people who are in meaningful organizations. I think it's important for people to be a part of something. So, I commend you for being a part of something. I really do. However, based on what you just shared, what part of it do you think was like meaningful or like moving out of what you just shared about your fraternal organization?
But meaningful, like the
Yeah,
of the
yeah,
history of the organization,
like just what you just shared. Like what had teeth to it?
the creation of an organization, of a fraternal organization specifically for Black scholarly men.
Well, I'll tell you what's one funny thing. At Berkeley, I was creating a fraternal organization for black scholarly men. Okay, so now what's okay, go on.
I mean, I'm not, but I told you, I'm not against that though. I think
I
it was
know,
a
but
great
my
idea.
point is that you said that each one has a particular history that's meaningful. Like it doesn't sound meaningful at all, actually. In fact, it sounds a lot less meaningful to have a black fraternity at a black campus because theoretically, you guys should all be fraternal. It's a black college, right? Everybody's black. So it's like, in fact, at that point, you're damn near excluding blacks. Whereas at Berkeley, which is a predominantly ethnic Chinese and white university, if you have a black fraternity, it has a lot more meaning. It's a refuge for people who otherwise are an extreme minority. So the narrative, the story is much more powerful. Whereas your story, to me, it just sounds like, okay, where's the punchline? You're saying like, hey, it's a black fraternity at a black college. I'm
So the
like,
focus,
okay.
so the focus was about the growth, right? Because like I said, we got the alphas, and a little bit later we have the kappas in that same year, or I mean earlier, excuse me,
I thought you said
earlier
the
you have,
Kappas were first and then the Omegas were second.
yeah, that's why I just corrected myself, my bad.
Okay, I was about to say
Yeah,
I caught that part. That part I was
yeah,
paying
yeah,
attention
yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. So but yeah, so the point is, okay, like we have these two organizations that were founded, and obviously we can clearly see the reason that they were founded because it was so desperately needed in those areas. But it's like, okay, so now we're at
Well, were the
Howard and we
Kappas at a white school, traditionally
you're
white
right.
school?
Yeah,
Okay, so
yes.
I can see why that was needed.
Right.
Now, in the case of the
So
Omegas, I don't see why that was needed.
So what I was saying is, so then you get to Howard, on campus at Howard, and
Mhm.
uh, the alphas are already pre-existing there because they came 1906, so they're already existing there. But now it's more of a, excuse me, it's more of a pride thing. So it's about the fact that okay, the alphas exist here and they are for black people, but they were created at a predominantly white campus, less, and at the time, in those times they were very selective, and they were very selective for reasons that were not relevant reasons. It wasn't necessarily about oh, who was like the most academically uh proficient, or who, I mean, I say community service doesn't matter, but if community service mattered back then for them, like who had the most community service, who was the, like, top of their class or whatever, it was things like skin color, who who was lighter, like could you be a part of this? So that's where the branch off comes from, is selection processes being exclusive for reasons that were not necessarily relevant at the time. I'm
You said
not saying that's
with the
what
Kappas.
with the alphas.
Oh, with the Alphas. Okay. So all of this doesn't sound like a little like like silly.
Yeah, I think excluding people because they're lighter or darker than you is silly. Yes,
Yeah, colorism among black people. It just seems
it's
the whole
it's
thing
very
sounds silly.
silly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my whole point, and I respect your you being a part of something. And I respect your organization, and
Mm.
I'm sure that all of the Black Greeks do fantastic, important work. There's just no doubt about that. I haven't personally witnessed it, but I know that it happens because I don't think that they could have good reputations without doing good works, is my guess. However, it just seems like a bit of silliness. Let's take a look at the video, if you don't mind, that sparked you to reach out. I'm going to replay from the beginning, and I'll try to mute it so that people, so that we don't get flagged. But I'll let you guys know who are watching. It's an R&B song that you'd usually play when you're trying to take down a female. Okay. So I'm gonna play this from the top, and this is this is one of the Black fraternities. I don't know which one because I don't know the names like that, but it's one of them. They all look kind of the same to me. Oh, I don't know where that dude came from. What the heck? What the hell? What the helly? What the helly, Cyrus? Oh, there they are, ladies, boys. Okay, so as you can see, they're very close. They're butt to nut, and they're grinding on each other, which is really weird. I don't know, and they practice this, so they've done this a lot. There's no logical reason that they need to be this close. It has to be hot. They're fully dressed. They're musty. They're sweaty, all up on each other. So I'll let you all hear my commentary. We'll look at some of the comments, and then we'll hear from the gentleman who is a representative of these homosexuals. This is despicable behavior. I'm messing with you. While I'm getting the audio together, would you like to comment on your fraternity brethren being butt to nut like that?
Those are not my fraternity brethren. I'm not part of that organization.
But you guys do the same kind of stuff. Come on, bro. Quit playing.
Not really, but okay.
Whoa, wait. You don't think you guys mostly do the same stuff?
No.
Okay, so
I mean, obviously there's similarities, but this specific video, no.
Well, let me ask you a question real quick, my boy. Say you went to one of the meetings and Tyler Perry's there, P Diddy's there, everybody's there, and they're like, "Hey, let's." I don't even know what the hell that was. Like, what was that? Like, what event was that?
Say was there.
What's that?
Who in your scenario? Who do you say was there?
Oh, just the usual characters: Tyler Perry, P Diddy, just the usual characters.
Right.
Yeah. But anyway, so they're like, hey, we got this event coming up. We want to do this dance. And then, they demo the dance. And they're like, all right, all of you Black guys who are wearing very tight pants, come over in church shoes and matching socks. Come on, let's all just get lined up. Butt to nut. Get closer. What would you have done?
Leave.
Are you sure?
Absolutely sure.
Okay.
I get where you're going. I get where you're going with this. That was nice, but no, I would leave, and it's not the same. But
all right. So as soon as they just start getting in position, you'd be like, you know what, bruh? I got to get up out of here.
Absolutely.
All right, for sure though. I don't know why every time I refresh this page, it keeps showing me like random stuff. That is very annoying. Instagram trying to finesse me into like watching this nonsense. Give me a moment because I got that audio good to go now. I'll play this for you. And we'll play the audio commentary. You can tell me if you have any disagreements with what was stated about your brethren.
Not my brother, but okay.
Nah, these are your people, man. These are your people. You see them grinding too, right?
In so much that they're Black, I guess, if that's what you mean. Yeah, sure.
They're Black fraternity. And they having a good time too. And it's immoral Black women in the audience. Black women just have no standards. That's why Black chicks are cool with the gay guys. This is despicable behavior. There are no adult heterosexual males that should participate in such a thing. And probably right now, if you're watching this and you feel the need to say something in the comments, you're probably an overweight, immoral Black female. I can't tell you how many low-income, single Black women message me all the time. I don't want to hear from you. I really don't. And I would like to make a statement at this time that most Black women, and I don't even need to talk about Black dudes, they're down bad. You heard me, they down bad. But most Black women are immoral. So don't try to get in the comments and correct anything I've said. You're not in a position to correct anything I've said. 21% of you are in poverty. 64% of you are raised in a fatherless home. And most of you are going to create a fatherless home simply for the fact that you can't shut up. You can't shut up, and you think that you know more than you do. Okay, there you go. And I know some of you overweight black women, you probably weigh between 180 to 230 pounds, that is. And you're probably, well, you don't talk about the guys. No, listen, these balls are down so bad. You can't, I don't even want to talk to them. I mean, really, we need to eliminate a good number of them. You dig? There's no solution for some of these rascals. We need to eliminate them. And a good number of them are Skittle guzzlers. As you can see in the previous clip, these dudes are not mentally healthy heterosexual men. So let me tell you straight like this. We're about to take over. If you haven't tapped in with Assassin, join the movement. We're not listening to what any of you broads got to say. You heard me? We're not listening to any of you. And you weak males, it's over for you. Marquettism is for the kids. Marquettism saves lives. And they're so very close. Did you have any comments on that commentary?
I mean, I told you when we got on, like I don't really disagree with the commentary. I told you when I messaged you, I wasn't really disagreeing. I was looking for clarity in terms of just how far you meant that statement. And it wasn't to be defensive or to debate against you. I just wanted clarity on if this was something that I am in agreement with you on, or if this was a slight deviation in our mindsets.
Okay, fair enough. We got this guy Marcus. He writes, it's a crossing show to the new members that recently crossed. This is definitely a gay organization. They lined up in numerical order of height, and they will remove their masks to reveal to the school the new members, then break into a step that's just a march out and reveal. So this little fruity pie over here is trying to explain it away, right? And then this person writes, just say you're gay. It's easier. And I agree. We got a lot of these download dudes that we need to route out and deal with them, because these are the guys that are actually spreading deadly diseases to the black woman, these down low guys. Would you agree that these guys are probably, what percentage of these guys do you think have done something fruity in their lifetime?
I couldn't call it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to go with.
At least.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, I don't have nothing else to say, but I'm sure you're about to say 100.
I'm going to go with 80. I'm going to go with 80%. Okay. Yeah, I'm feeling like 80. Because they're just so very, just uncomfortably close. Like, women wouldn't let you get that close to them. Like, like that's you'd have to be in a relationship with Shorty for you to get that close to her. The idea that they're doing this with dudes is insane. I'm just reading through the comments to see if there's anyone who disagreed. Look at this cheap rascal. You got to be broke. He says, I wanted to join a frat because I was in an HBCU, but it was too expensive. Like, good Lord, you're broke. Like, that's insane. That is insane. Oh, my goodness. And then this person writes, right. What I look like paying dues to be a part of something that doesn't even benefit me at all. No, you're broke too. Don't make excuses. You're just broke. Poverty in the black community is a terrible thing, but poverty is often going to be consistent because of the foolishness and the idiocy and the strange beliefs that a lot of folks have. That's why we need this education. And I'm not talking about the university education. It's not helpful at all. A lot of them go into university, come out still broke. That's why we see unemployment rising sharply among black women, because they don't have good skills. They work for the government. Now the government's downsizing. Government is a haven for people who are talentless. So as these new males today do feminine things, agree. It seems like monolithically, everyone agrees that this was fruity. So now the real question is this. How is it, this person must be a Skittle guzzler right here. How is it that despite this, like hundreds of people commenting that this is fruity, why do you think they ended up setting this, choosing to do this, even though like it seems like to be popular opinion that this is fruity?
I mean, I can't speak on that. It's not my organization. It's not my show. I don't know those guys. I don't even know what school that was from. So I don't know. I don't know whose idea. I do know that typically the little sway side to side thing they're doing, they normally do individually. I personally never seen them linked up that close doing that specifically to knocking the boots. Like,
yeah, and that was what made it crazy, is the song was like a romance me song while they like swishing back and forth their scrotum
which, and that's the thing.
Cheeks.
which and that's the thing. Like typically, like their thing is like wooing the women. So like, cool, you play knocking the boots, you sway side to side, you do it by like not nut to butt. I it would make more sense. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I wasn't really in disagreement with everything that you were saying. I just didn't know if it was a generalized statement or not.
Fair enough. Got you. Got you. So, what year of university are you in?
I graduated in 2020.
2020. So you're 6 years out of university.
About to be, yes, sir.
Okay, very good, very good. And has the fraternal experience profited you post graduation?
Um, I mean, I'll be completely transparent. I mean, not massively, but I mean, there's been opportunities, yeah,
So,
internships and
would you
things
recommend
like
it?
that. I mean, yeah, if you're gonna use it for what its benefits are, and I mean, even if me personally, I have benefited. I have plenty of close friends, plenty of close brothers that have tremendously benefited from those connections.
Okay, very good, very good. There you go, ladies and saints. Someone writes, Omegas do the same shit. Is he lying on you?
I'm sure that's somebody who also hating from outside of the club, but no, he's definitely lying on me.
Okay, okay, fair enough, fair enough. All right. Well, I appreciate you. Was there anything else? Let me see if anybody had anything they wanted to say to you. By the way, if you guys have questions or comments for the gentleman, feel free to use the information below to send it in. Shout out to Frank supporting the work via Stripe. I appreciate you. May I also acknowledge Mr. Chambliss comes in via Venmo. He writes, "This guy needs some cowboy boots and a guitar. Yeehaw!" I don't know.
Is that a reference to my accent? Is that?
I have
I
no
don't-
idea.
The fuck? Oh,
Okay.
so I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Shout out to Constantine. Came in by Venmo supporting the work. May I also acknowledge Wayne came in supporting by PayPal. Oh, goodness. Yeah, no, I have no idea what that is in reference to, my good man. Okay, fantastic. Looks like we're caught up there. Was there anything else you want to share with the people before you get out of here?
I came on here not to necessarily debate Marquett. I follow Marquett. I think he's a clever dude. I think I love the way he baits people into basically making themselves look like fools. Uh, and I consider myself to be a novice of the art myself. Uh, so it's interesting. You did it to me. You did a good job. Even though I wasn't even debating with you, like you still found a way through the cracks to make it a debate.
Oh, no,
I like it.
absolutely not. No, I was just having a nice conversation with you.
Yeah, no.
If you think that was a debate or that was rough,
Nah, it wasn't rough at all. I
nah,
mean, of
nah,
course
I
you
wasn't.
said
I was
some.
I was being cordial to you in this
Yeah,
discussion. Yes.
yeah. You had a few little try to be incendiary little
Well, I
statements,
mean,
but
I do think that these because of the state of the black male, unfortunately, the HBCU, most of them should be shut down. What?
no, just I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Explain,
no, most of them
explain.
should be shut down, and when they reopen, they should be for the elite of the black people, not for the average of the black
I've
people.
heard this talking point before, and I agree.
Yeah, and currently they're just fashion shows for skanks and effeminate males who most of both sides are not going to amount to much. That's pretty much what they just are. They're not rigorous at all. They're just like the 13th and 14th grade as they currently stand, and I think they're an embarrassment. I'm happy they exist, but I'd love to see them reformed. I couldn't even consider going to one because it would be like high school all over again, and I'd be surrounded by the dumb kids. I yield the floor.
So I just I mean my question I would say is when you make broad critiques like that of like the black community in general or
Hmm.
black academics and things like that,
Yes.
is that criticism coming from a place specifically of you think that these things are unique to the black experience or even the HBCU experience, or it only matters to you because it's black people? Like, let me explain what I mean. I probably didn't say that clear. Like, would you acknowledge, like you say, it's a haven for effeminate men and skanky women? I think that can be said about college and university for the most part. But is it just that your focus specifically is on the fact that where we are as a black community, we have no time for those things?
I don't think any community has time for those things, but in the black community, you don't have the range. So, for example, among the whites, do you have skanks? For sure. However, you'll have a low performing white public institution, and they're still even proud of the low performing ones like The Ohio State University. Like some people still think it's prestigious because they have a good football team, but it's a low performing university. But then they also have Harvard, Yale, Stanford, and all the rest of it. Whereas the black people, they suggest that Howard is like I think that's the creme de la creme, right, of the black HBCUs.
I would say so. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not the,
yeah, and
I
it's
don't
still
know for sure,
garbage though.
but
That's the crazy part. Is it's still garbage and it doesn't rank. You see what I'm saying? And
right.
so basically, all of the black colleges are all low tier. And I wish that they at least would have left two of them as elite institutions, but they're all low tier. And more importantly, now they're not even black. They're historically black, right? You got the Asians and the Latinos and the whites in there. It's not even an all black institution. And a part of that is because of the funding, right? They have not managed the funding very well. And when you had people like Dr. Cosby giving money, they had the audacity to be insulting to his legacy when he got hashtag Me Too'd by liberal white women. And I found that to be just very distasteful to be a betrayer like that. And I think that that is very much so shows you the nature of the blacks. They're matriarchal, they're emotional and effeminate, and they are living in unnatural ways. When there's a natural order, we respect strength, we respect intelligence, we respect ambition, we respect true power. And currently, we're not organizing around that. We're organizing around inclusivity. We're organizing around the values of idiocy. So it's a race to the bottom among the blacks.
I agree.
Yeah. Um, excuse me. And you know, one of the worst things is, you know, maybe I would have liked to have gone to a black university. Maybe I would like to send my children to a black university. But what black college currently means is lack of safety. It means underperformance. And it doesn't even have to be lack of safety in a literal sense of crime on the campus. I'm just talking about the degenerate nature of the young people who are there, the nature of the parties, the physical branding in the fraternities, the extreme foolishness that goes on, such that I wouldn't trust that if I had a daughter and I sent her there, she could be around moral women who are not materialistic fools. If I had a son and I sent him there, I couldn't trust that he wouldn't be in a den of Skittle guzzlers. And all of that needs to be cleaned out. And what's worse is these are historically black universities, and they're not supported by the black community. Many of them are leveraging grants and government funding. And anytime you have that, you're always going to be beholden to he who holds the purse. And so, you know, that's an L.
In saying so much, so like use the example of if you had daughters, don't do you not feel that way in general about sending them off to college? And especially when you say
No,
about whoever holds the purse. I
no, I
mean,
tend
if
to
that's it,
think I think that if you can get them into a more prestigious school, you're still going to have the parties, you're still going to have all the BS, but I think you'll have better guardrails and you'll have greater protections that come with money and power. And so I
it's
definitely
more
would
of
want to insulate my family with those things. Like just like in Berkeley, when I give you the example of, you know, the white fraternities and even the Latino fraternities, they can party on campus, right? So let's say they were doing goofy things like marijuana and other drugs and getting filthy drunk, right? Then, you know, they stumble home to their house, which is a couple blocks away, right? To their apartment or to their on campus housing. Conversely, if you're one of the black fraternities, you have to go to a house party or go to Oakland or go to San Francisco and you get slizzard. You got a long way to get home. The number of opportunities for you to be accosted, for you to get hurt, for you to be engaged by the law enforcement, it just increases your risk exponentially. And these are the situations that we often find the black folks in because of the failure to be self-sustaining and to be organizing into a powerful lobby.
So I agree, but you said two. So you said two things there, though. So basically you're saying it's more about the prestige of the school. I agree with that. Of course, I would prefer my children to go to the most prestigious school possible with the most benefits out of it that they can possibly get, versus just, oh, I went to HBCU because it's historically black.
Right. Not e- That's
But
crazy.
yeah, but at the same time, then you brought up the fraternities, or and, well, not even the fraternities, but just, well, yeah, you brought the fraternities and the partying and everything, and you said like how basically when you talk about safety, it's not even necessarily about like crime on the campus, but they don't even have the safety net of being able to party and enjoy themselves or even do foolish things on campus. But that's true. That's true. But pointing that out, so say your son, daughter, whatever in the future did get into a prestigious school like Cal Berkeley, but also wanted to join a Black Greek or lettered organization, they then lose some of that perceived protection that you're talking about. So isn't that kind of its own problem? Like that can't necessarily be tied into it because like
Well,
that kind of circles the wagon back to
yeah.
the root problem of black people being black people, basically. Like
Well, no,
in
it's not black people being black people. It's black people being stupid. You see, I was Moses. I was the North Star. I could have carried them to a height that they had never been to. They didn't want to go. You see, and I hear that Harriet Tubman had wanted to free some niggas, and some niggas was like, "Nah, I think I'm good here at the plantation." So this is not new. You have those who are scared of winning, scared of new things. They have low self-esteem, and the blacks as a racial group have low self-esteem. My son or daughter, I would hope that they would have profited by being raised by an upright father and they would know how to build a winning team. And if they don't know how to build a winning team, join a winning team. And to join a fraternity that has five or less members is ridiculous. I mean, it's utterly ludicrous. I'd be ashamed of my parenting had they done such a thing.
It's so much bigger than just what's at your campus, though. And it, like you would
No,
know that if
no,
you wanted
no,
to
it's
join the
no, it's
organization.
not. No, it's not so much bigger than what's at your campus because what's at your campus is every single day. And the amount of benefits that you get from that every single day experience are incomparable. And I went through the Greek experience. I founded it, so I know it very well. I created an organization that stands to this day. It's had tens of thousands of young men go through it. We put $1 million into a building that has 30 something rooms with a courtyard and a basketball court and a huge basement for the most epic ragers you'd ever want to see in your life. It's not even comparable, the experience that I created for myself and other men, tens of thousands of them, versus what would happen if you were part of a 5-man fraternity that had this great history. It's not even comparable. And that's the kind of stupidity that is sold to black people. This is why black people think they make gains when you give them a holiday, like Martin Luther King holiday, because they get taken by words. I was delivering the goods, you dig? I
But that's
wasn't
also
delivering the
why.
history. I was delivering the actual goods.
But that's also why. But that's also why at schools like Cal Berkeley there are only 3, 4, 5 members in those chapters, because what you just described basically is because the funding or whatever it may be is bigger for the, as you said, traditional or white organizations.
No, that's not why. It's because
It's
these people are stupid and they're being run by people who are stupid. It's that simple. The woman who was leading it, Nzinga Dugama,
that
I
may be
believe her
true.
name is, she was stupid. And then the members of the fraternities were also stupid. It's that
That
simple.
may be true. I
There's
don't know them
nothing, it's not
individually.
deep. It's not deep. Those people were all stupid and they were not ready for a big win. That's it. They had
So
a
let me
chance.
let me ask you a question. What's the name of your organization?
Alpha Tau Omega.
Alpha Tau Omega. And
Gamma
so
Iota chapter.
Okay. And so is that that's part of the like what is the
It's a
bigger
part of the
like
Pan-Hellenic.
okay. Okay. So that answers my question. My point was when you originally proposed the idea, you were saying it doesn't necessarily have to be like a fraternity in the sense of being a part of the Panhellenic or being a part of the NPHC had it been a black organization instead. Like your point was basically just let's get instead of being a bunch of small groups that can do essentially nothing, let's collect and actually do something here. Had
Right.
it not been excuse me, had it not been a Greek organization, or at least not a part of one of these councils,
Mm-hmm.
then the members of the NPHC organizations would have still been able to freely join without essentially denouncing their ties to their original organization.
Yeah, but their
Yeah,
original
but their original
organization means nothing, and
I mean,
that's
that's
the
an
whole
opinion.
point.
Okay.
No, that's a fact. It means nothing, and it's because of the goofiness of like having these strong identity with something that has no meaning. Um, that's the telltale sign that Black people are lost.
So
You know,
do you not have any like I mean not fraternal organizations, but anything just black culture. And when I say black culture, don't bite my head off. I mean true black culture, not degeneracy that we talk
mm.
about, that we see in like our music and things like that, that you identify with and that you like proud to like in pride associate yourself with.
Yeah, but I know that a lot of it has very little meaning. Like for example, um, when I see people I grew up with, they're like, "What up, Damu? Westside PDL? You know, we bicking back being boo, boking on the bing bing. You know, what's bracking? Where the hoes at? You know, like that's all within the culture that I grew up in. But if I take a flight out of Los Angeles and I end up in Baltimore, and you know, I ask somebody what's bracking, like they're not gonna know what I'm talking about. It has no relevance anymore. My cultural the things that are relevant in my culture, you know, like they don't know what West Side Dimmer Lane is. They have no real way to place the meaning of my culture, my cultural, the relevance of that culture, and it doesn't do anything. And if I were to get into trouble or be in a pinch, it doesn't do anything. There's no meaning. And that's why I tell people when you're
But
walking
then
around calling,
that wouldn't apply for the Greek organization thing because that very last point you just made is absolutely not true for Greek organizations. I would think across the board, black or white, but definitely
no, they
black.
don't have enough power. The black ones, because they're so small, they don't have enough power. Like the
But
truth is
Marquette,
when you're
that's
in,
simply not true. I know personal examples where I mean I'm not gonna put them out there, but I know personal examples where they have absolutely been big enough to protect or get people out of situations or trouble or elevate people to places they wanted to be.
at the University of California, Berkeley, they had no
Right.
power and no
I
relevance.
and I and I agree. I agreed with that point.
Right. So you're talking,
So
but
it wouldn't make any sense to
you're
join that
talking dreamy
organization if
though.
you went to California.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking dream. I'm
You're
talking about
talking
a school where
dreamy.
the presence is bigger. Or I'm
Yeah,
talking
but
about outside of that school.
that's not what
I'm
we were
talking.
talking about though. And the reason I say you're talking dreamy is because we were specifically talking about at the University of California, Berkeley, where they had nearly no population. And that's why I'm saying that it's something that was dreamy and only fools would pursue that. It was a fool's errand. And that is a problematic way of thinking among the black people. And we must recalibrate them lest they will remain divided, foolish, and weak. And just even the effort to try to establish greater meaning in a university based organization and a network that doesn't have any real deeper meaning in the society. Well, Marquette, how do you know? Because I'm black and well off. You hear me? I'm black and well off. I've barely had any meaningful interaction with this stuff other than people like walking around like, oh, yeah, you're a Kappa, you're a Omega, you're a Alpha. Oh, yeah. You know, and, oh, what do you, I think one of them does this one. I don't know which one, but they're like, oh, and that's it. You just see them doing goofy shit. But in terms of political meaning, there is none. And so it's like, we have to stop with the fantasy and the bull. Maybe if you're at a
Is there
black,
political meaning in what is it? What is it? Alpha Tau?
no, it's a
Is it Alpha?
university based organization. Now, say you're a white guy in ATO, you probably get a lot more juice out of it. I got the most mileage out of it based on what I wanted. And what I wanted was to have one of those mega mansions where you can invite over the chicks and they're happy to come. The party's rocking, and you can walk from your basement straight upstairs to the room and go for the kill. And it was a great level of convenience. And on game day, you could sell parking and have a barbecue and have a phenomenal time. And if you so chose to visit the university again, in my case, I go back and my picture's on the wall. There's a plaque on the wall with my name on it as the founding president. That's more than enough. There's not a whole lot of value beyond that. And what I don't do is create fantasies about how super valuable the organization is. Now, granted, if I wanted to be like very tapped in and plugged in, I'm sure I could do that. But I didn't have any major interest. I didn't have any major interest in it.
But so can the same not be said? I don't know these guys, but like the 4 or 5 guys or whatever that were in those, or I guess 15 guys because there was 3 separate orgs. Can the same not be said for them? That they got the glory out of it that they wanted.
What personal interest do you have in arguing for something that is small and pathetic? Why do you identify so strongly with something that's small and pathetic? Like, what is it? What is it in your psyche? What's in your psyche that makes you think that black people should be a part of something that's small and insignificant?
You mean them, the guys at Cal Berkeley?
No, you're arguing on behalf of it.
I'm just asking you. Like, you're saying that you got nothing bigger out of it other than the glory that you got in undergrad.
No, that's what I was seeking. This is just like people who talk about legacy.
So how is that not what they were seeking, though?
They didn't get that. They didn't get that because they were part of a small, irrelevant organization. Their organization had no meaning at all.
To you?
No, it had no meaning. There's no games to be played. There's no to you. It had no meaning. It's like
so
the Green
at no
Party.
point,
for example, there's the Democrats, there's the Republicans. They have meaning. Then there's the Green Party, there's the Independent Party, there's the this, the that. And if you were one of those people, you say, yeah, it has meaning. No, it has no meaning. The Democrats and the Republicans have meaning. Everything else has no meaning. So we can pretend, but that would just be to be nice. They have no meaning.
So at no point did, based off of the meaning you prescribe to, what you got out of your fraternal experience, at no point those organizations did they ever throw massive tailgates or homecoming cookouts.
They couldn't tailgate. That's the funny thing. And the reason I know that they didn't have anything, the reason I know they had nothing bracking is because all the football players would come to our tailgate because I was like the only black guy.
In that scenario, it would be absolutely silly to join those organizations. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, like you couldn't even tailgate because you don't have a house. You don't have a house. You couldn't tailgate. So,
yes.
Like, what are we talking about? Like the football stadium was literally on the back block of my fraternity. The fraternity was on 2 levels because you might know that Berkeley and the San Francisco Bay Area is kind of hilly. So this massive home was on 2 streets, and the first street was lower and the second street was high. And then just beyond that was the football stadium. We used to sell parking spaces, sell barbecue, sit out, have a good old time. The black fraternities couldn't even do that. At best, they could go attend the game, but they couldn't hang out before or after. And so their experience just frankly wasn't as good. And the problem is that, and you're expressing some of the problems in ideology and thinking, which is that we lie. Everything's not equal. Some things are not as good. And it's okay to say, hey, that was an inferior experience. That's an inferior college. That's an inferior car. It's okay. You know, I flat out said HBCUs suck because when I was going into university, I wanted to look at them because I came from a school that was all black and Mexican is all I knew. So I'd prefer to be among black people. But then I was looking at my SAT score, which was nearly perfect. And I was looking at the SAT scores that were typical of the black colleges. I was like, oh, hell no, ain't no way. Ain't no way. No, I wouldn't fit in here. These are all the dumb kids. That's what they are. They're all the dumb kids collected together.
Can't say that's not a relatable experience to some degree, but
yeah, I mean the data bears it out, unfortunately.
Oh no, but I mean I'm saying personally as well, but yeah, but I mean, hey, like I said, I would say on that like that specific instance, I cannot argue with you if that's the case. Like, yeah, that you got no bit, you didn't even get that small insignificant like gain of doing these things on campus, getting whatever glory or having whatever fun on campus. But I mean, there is still, for Black Greek organizations, there is still the after that still happens. But you may, and you also, you even point out like, oh, there's nothing else other than throwing up signs to each other saying, oh, yo, what's up? You're this, oh, you're that. But you said, how do you know this? And you said, because I'm Black and wealthy, which insinuates that you've seen them in your Black and wealthy circles.
No, no, I'm saying that their absence proves that there's not a ton of value add. Is their absence? I can only think of three individuals that I'm like, oh, okay, you're a part of that. One of them is Dr. Russell Kelly, and I'd be shocked if he's still alive. I hope he is. At the time that I knew him, he was my mentor. He's like 90 years old at that time, and frankly, he probably went to black fraternities when they were probably a lot more prestigious and a lot more well respected, just because the quality of black human beings in America was higher. But yeah, he used to talk about that stuff all the time. It was a way for him to relate to a lot of the folks that he mentored. But for the most part, that stuff doesn't become a factor. And there's no doubt that probably the traditional fraternities have the people who are more hardcore. And I just wasn't. I was the person that was there for the in-university experience. But the crux of the conversation has to go toward the fact that the video clip we looked at was clearly showing that this was a gay haven, the whatever organization that needs to stop. And then I think the black fraternity seemed like a great idea. I'd like to see historically black colleges not be historically black. I'd like to see them presently black. They need to have much more rigorous standards, which means that they probably need to reduce population significantly. They need to find better sources of independent income. And then let's get to the moon.
And that, as a closing statement, I completely agree with.
All right. Hey, Blakely, it's a pleasure to meet you. Now, oh yeah, now one thing. Now you had to have been raised middle class, because ain't no nigga ever in the history of niggas been named Blakely. Are you? Do you have a white mama?
No, no. I'm as black as they come. Actually, I'm just
Now, how is your name Blakely?
for the typical older black parent idea of wanting you to be able to assimilate in white culture and get a good job. And
That's gonna get you a hell of a job. I'm telling you, bro. Because if I ever have a mixed baby and it's a boy and the boy looks whiter than he does black, I'm naming him Blakely in your honor. And I'm always say his name with a British
why he gotta
accent.
be mixed? Why he gotta be mixed though?
Because Blakely, you got to be your complexion got to match the name at least a little bit, Ain't no way you're gonna be jet black looking like Michael Jordan. Your name is Blakely, darling. Your father is calling you. Nigga, like, father, I'm coming, father. Hark. No, it's a dope name, my brother. It's a dope name, though, man. And I know your job applications be getting approved. You heard you be on LinkedIn. They be like, oh, Blakely, perfect. Marquett, oh, hell no, that's a fat black woman. I'm out of here.
Oh my god.
Hey, I appreciate you coming on, brethren. It's been a pleasure, and wishing you continued success.
Appreciate it, man. You too.
Absolutely. Peace to the saints.